So I spent my first couple of years at my corporate job working really, really hard and thinking that that was going to earn me a promotion, but that didn't happen. So today I want to talk about why working hard is not enough and what you should do instead if you want to get the promotion and progress in your career. I was reflecting on why I thought that working really hard was going to bring me success in the company. So I think this dates back to school and university. In university and school, when you study more, you learn more, you go to the exam, typically you have better results. There is a linear relationship between how much you study and how much time you spend on books and your final results. Also, everything is visible. Everything is transparent. If you participate more in class, if you have better grades because you've studied more, the teacher will see that. And work, it doesn't work this way. The reason for this is because in a team, there is no transparency into what everyone else is doing. People are typically working on different things. Even people that are doing the same job, they're typically working on different projects, on different clients. There is no parity in terms of what people are working on. Second of all, there is no transparency because your manager cannot be in every single room in every single moment. And if you expand even more from your manager, when you think about senior leaders in the company and other influential people around your manager, they typically don't have transparency into exactly what you're doing day to day. This is why working really hard does not produce the same benefits that it would have produced at school, where there is a direct relationship between working hard and the results you get. What should you do to get promoted and to make sure that the work you do gets rewarded in the right way? You need to show your work. You need to make sure that the work you do is visible. People cannot read your mind. You need to help them understand what you're working on, and you need to help them understand what is the value of your work. And if you don't do it, you're leaving too much ambiguity as to why that work is important. Being visible is just that, is really communicating to the people that need to know about that, your coworkers, relevant teams that can benefit from your work, your manager, and it can also be senior leaders that, again, have all these levels between them and you. Imagine how much information get dispersed and how much information get distorted. Would you rather have them hear it from you, or would you rather have them hear it from someone else that has an opinion about your work? It's much better if you tell them directly. That's what it means getting visible, and that's what it means showing your work. Let's now go into very practical and actionable tips as to how you can get more visible and make sure the right people know about your work. First of all, taking a step back and understanding what work is valuable. You need to make sure that you work on things that are important. And if it's not absolutely clear, ask your manager. So in the one-to-one that you have, even from the very early on, make sure that you understand what your manager's priorities are, goals and dreams. What are they trying to achieve in the team? This also goes to another point, that is, the more you help your manager succeed, the more successful you're going to be. But how can you help your manager succeed if you don't know what they care about and what they think is important? Which is why it's really pivotal to ask your manager, what are the projects you're working on? Where do you want to be in the next year? How do you think our team can improve in the way we're doing our work? And by answering these questions and by listening to your manager, you will understand what projects your manager really cares about. So let's say your manager tells you, I think our team really needs to improve in the way we are servicing our clients because we're not very efficient. And what we need is actually a database of customer stories and customer examples so that we can reference them when we're speaking to clients. Boom! You know that that's a great project to work on. You know that your manager is already on board because it's an idea that came from him. So why not propose him to work on this? And also asking him or her, how do you measure success? What do you think a good person in this role would look like? What skills, what results? And then this really allows you to understand what type of work, what aspects to improve, and what things your manager cares about. So that's number one. Understand what your manager cares about and work on projects that are valuable for your manager and then as a result for the broader team. The second thing is, don't assume that people know you've done something just because you've done it. What I would suggest is every time you have completed a project or led an initiative, you have found an interesting document, that you've read an interesting document, you've done an interesting research, make sure to share it. Share it in your group chat, share it in an email, talk about it in team meetings, but make sure that people know that you have worked on it, because you never know who may benefit from their work. So it's not really just about showing off, but it's also about sharing information. And especially in an era where everyone is so focused on, their laptop and their work, and there are not so many, perhaps, moments where you can just get a coffee with someone and share your work. Think about what opportunities you have to share your work. And then finally, I would say networking. So what is networking and why it's important? So the way I see it is, you need to make sure that the right people know who you are. Because especially if you work in a big company, and this is more relevant if you work in a corporate environment, imagine your company has 5,000 people, 10,000 people, 20,000 people. It's bad to say, but you're just one small person in a sea of people. So how can you make sure that people know who you are and know what value you're bringing to the team? The bare minimum is that they know your name. So what I would suggest everyone starting out in a new company is make sure you talk to as many people as possible in the form of a coffee chat. It doesn't have to be honestly work related, but it's just about making sure that you put yourself out there. You have that 15 minutes conversation where you introduce yourself. And people, once they already know your name, then the very moment they see your message in a chat, they're going to pay more attention to what you're writing because they already know who you are, right? Think about when you are on Instagram and you are looking through so many stories. You will stop if it's the story of a friend of yours or a celebrity you really like. Whereas if it's someone that you barely know, that you probably wouldn't even pay attention. It's the same thing in the work environment. If people know your name, they know which department you're in, as soon as they start seeing something that comes from you, they will pay attention and like, oh yeah, I know that person. Let me read that. Don't be afraid to network with people that are much higher than you. Don't be afraid to ask a senior leader for 10 minutes of their time, or even sharing something interesting with them. So if you know that they care about something and maybe you know of a project or you have found a document that they may be interested in, don't be afraid to just say, hey, I found this document. I think you may be interested in that. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, you're helping them do their job. Wouldn't you like if someone were to do your job for you or were to make your life easier? Of course, you're going to like them. Make sure you help the people that have the power then to promote you, to increase your salary, and to grow your career. Even mentor you. It doesn't even have to be about money, but they can become your mentors. They can help you understand how to progress, how to grow, how to learn more. The takeaway from this video is, don't just work hard, but make sure that you show your work and that people know who you are. That sounds such a simple thing, but again, I've spent years of my career just working really hard and not understanding why I wasn't rewarded in the way I thought I had to be rewarded. Let me know in the comments below if this is something that has happened to you already, and what have been your stories in terms of working hard and not getting rewarded for it. I hope you like this video. If you do, please hit the like button, leave me a comment, and let me know what topics you'd like me to cover. I'll see you in the next one.